Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and I'm here today with a very special piece of inventory. This is a 2023 Cayenne Turbo, which is special enough by itself, but this particular example is one of our exclusive manufacturer units. What that means is every so often we take the opportunity to get a little bit indulgent with the way that we option our cars so that we have an opportunity to show off some features that aren't selected as frequently, so people can actually physically see, what they look like, what some of the really interesting, in-depth customization options that Porsche offers actually, look and feel like. So that's what we've done here. There's a lot of really, really cool things. I'm going to sum them up in this video today and kind of outline some of the features on the car. We'll also do kind of a different, more in-depth video where you can physically see more of those little options that we'll explain. But for today, we'll kind of go over the basics, what makes this car special, and run off as many of those things as I can think of while I'm standing here. So this is, as I said, a 2023 Cayenne Turbo. So the basics of that are that it has a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, about 550 horsepower. Of course, they're all-wheel drive, all that kind of stuff. The turbos will all come with a slightly different content load than the regular Cayenne or Cayenne S does, but largely what you're paying for is that larger engine, the extra horsepower. Also, the brakes, the standard brakes on a turbo are the Porsche surface-coated brakes, which they introduced a few years ago now. Would have been for the 2019 model year. You notice the brake calipers on this are white. Porsche did that very purposefully to emphasize the fact that when you get these surface-coated brakes, which are about a $4,000 option on the other Cayennes, but standard on the turbo, they virtually eliminate the brake dust. So those white calipers will stay that way because you really don't have brake dust. Obviously, that makes keeping your wheels clean a whole lot easier. But let's talk about this one in particular. So on the outside, this is Chromite Black Metallic, which is a new black. It replaced the Jet Black Metallic, which we had for a number of years. Similar, you might say black is black, but it's a little bit different, particularly in the sunlight, you can tell. Also, we'll start with the rest of the outside first. These wheels are as big as you can get. This is a 22-inch 911 turbo design wheel. I think it looks awesome. It's probably my favorite wheel design, and it really fills out those wheel wells nicely. As well, this one has the sport design package in carbon fiber, so that gives you slightly different bumpers around, different wheel arches, a few little things, and being in carbon fiber, meaning there's a bunch of carbon details in the front bumper as well as in the rear. You've also got your carbon on the top of the exterior mirror here, your side mirror. We also carried that over to the interior. We'll go over a few carbon touches that we did inside there as well. But to sum up the rest of the exterior, notice the roof rails on the top. You do have to put those in at factory. They can't be retrofit, so always an important note when you're looking at stuff that's in stock. As well, so those are in black. The standard window trim would have been silver, but when you option those black rails, the trim goes to black as well. Around the back, this one does have the trailer hitch too, which we'll put on most of our stock cars. Much cheaper to do it up front than if you want to add it after the fact, though you can, or you can't with the roof rails, you can add the hitch after the fact. It's just a little bit more costly to do so. And the Cayenne is quite capable in that sense. If you do want to tow, it'll do about 7,700 pounds, though most people just put it on there for a bike rack. But in any case, this one's already equipped with all that stuff and ready to go. Exterior wise, I think that just about summed it up. Oh, there's one thing that you can't physically see right now. That is the fuel cap. So if you open that fuel door, this one has the exclusive design fuel filler cap, which is a little bit more premium, a little bit nicer looking and feeling than the standard, just kind of, basic plastic one would be. But, that's what Porsche is all about, the details that most brands don't think about, and, just a plastic piece is good enough. With Porsche, you have the option. If it is, great. If you'd rather upgrade that, well, we can afford you that opportunity, which is pretty cool. And again, most other brands don't do. So let's move on then to the inside, where I think this car becomes particularly special and exciting. So with the Cayenne Turbo, I mentioned the turbos have some more standard equipment than the other models. One of those things being a full leather interior. So they'll all have that, as this one does, meaning not only are your seats leather, but so is the dashboard, upper, lower, the doors, everything is leather wrapped. But with this one, in an effort to make it a little bit more interesting, we did the contrasting seat centers with the contrast stitch. So you have guards red seat centers as opposed to the full red seats. This is just the centers, which I like. It gives a nice kind of pop of color without being too much red. Some people can find when there's the full two-tone black red, it's a little bit overbearing, it's a little bit much. With this one, it's slightly more subtle, though, as I mentioned, It's Guards red in this example, as opposed to the Bordeaux red that you would get with a black and red, more conventional two-tone interior. So the Guards is much brighter than that Bordeaux is and definitely pops more. And then, as I said, the contrasting stitch. So you have that line of stitch along the top of the dash, on the doors, but also we added a couple of other kind of extra leather pieces on the car that then get that contrasting stitch as well. One being the steering column. So rather than having that piece plastic when the rest is all leather, that's leather wrapped too in this one, and you have that little bit of red stitch. And then the grab handles, kind of iconic now of the Cayenne. There are those two grab handles in the center on either side of the console, as well as on the doors, but it's really those center console ones that kind of scream Cayenne. It's had it in every generation, and those are leather wrapped now and with that contrasting stitch as well. People don't often realize those pieces are generally vinyl, and that's fine, they work, it's nice, but when you have the option to upgrade to leather, it's just that much better, and it is a surface that you're interacting with all the time, so you might not notice it when it isn't there, but when it is, it just feels that much nicer every day to have that smooth leather. Also, the gear lever was upgraded here. This is the exclusive design gear lever too, which is a little bit different. Again, just a little bit fancier. It has that Porsche crest embossed on top, and I'll say again, that's something you're physically interacting with all the time. So if you're looking to upgrade pieces or add leather to various spots on the car, I always recommend doing the ones that you're going to physically interact with, because it is just that much more impactful. You'll notice the crest emboss also on all four of the headrests in this one. It has the Porsche crest, always a nice touch. One of the most popular exclusive options that we offer. The armrest too, we upgraded on this one to have the model designation embossed on there. So the armrest says turbo on it in the turbo font, which is pretty cool and much more rarely selected. So neat to see here. But of course, this car does also have the more kind of conventional options like your Premium Plus package. So things like ventilated seats are there, the panoramic sunroof, the blind spot warning. What else is in that package? Oh, the 4-zone climate control. So independent zones, not only for the driver and passenger, but also for the two passengers in the rear. You can fit 3, but there are 2 independent zones in the rear. And then the Matrix LED headlights, which I could have mentioned for the exterior, but that's the top level headlights that we offer. And those will give you the auto high beams, but they're kind of an evolution of that. So the more rudimentary, the older systems would allow you to leave your high beams on, and if it sees somebody coming the other way, they'll dip them out of the way so you're not blinding that oncoming driver. With the Matrix headlights, they have 84 individual LEDs, and they'll turn off only the specific ones that are affecting that car, leaving the rest of them on. So if you do a lot of night driving, they really improve your visibility. It's quite a neat thing to see in action when you're driving around at night. Also, in addition to the Premium Plus package, this one has the Assistance package, which gives you things like the heads-up display, which Porsche hasn't actually had that long, just for a few years now, but that's equipped on this example, as well as the Night Vision Assist, which is a really, really cool feature. You can scroll through in your gauge cluster. In the center, you have your analog dial, and on either side of that, you have screens. One of those screens you can scroll through, and then it pops up as night vision. It's kind of like an infrared, black and white with things being highlighted in yellow, be them pedestrians or animals, things like that. They'll highlight on the screen, and it'll even flash some of those LEDs at that person to make them more visible to you and you to them. Really, really cool feature. When you start to use it, it comes in quite handy, and it's actually much more effective than I thought it would be before I started using it. Also with that, you get the surround view, but this example, we upgraded beyond that. So this has an option, kind of an option suite, if you will, called Remote Park Assist, but it's not just for, automatic parking, which this has, and that's really, really cool too. But that also gives you the 3D surround view. So not only do you have, that top-down view, which is really cool, but it has actually now been around for quite a while, and that technology has kind of evolved as well. So you can just do the standard, bird's eye view from above, makes parking the car super easy. It's a feature I love and have been encouraging people to option for years. But now with the 3D version, you can actually go on the screen, pull it up, and rotate views around the car. So you get a 3D representation of the vehicle that you can spin around, and you can actually see all around the car perspectives that there's just no way you could possibly have from inside the car. It looks like you're standing outside looking at it, from kind of a third-person perspective. And it's super cool. The surround view was tough enough for people to get used to, so this one is that just dialed up even further. It's a different vantage point. It's a little bit eerie at first, but again, once you've adapted to it, like the regular surround view, it works incredibly well, and very, very high-tech, very cool stuff. So all of that is optioned in this example as well. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but I've probably gone on enough. And as I mentioned, we'll have that other video up shortly as well, diving into some of those more rare and exclusive options. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you're interested in the car, if you just want to come down and check it out, we will have it on display in our showroom just right after shooting this video. Thanks so much for watching.